if you want to get crazy, we can get crazy. I just got back from seeing Jordan Peele's Us, and I'm ready to give you my review on this movie. First off, Jordan Peele absolutely knocked it out the park with this movie. Guys, you have to see this movie. This is the best movie of 2019 so far. Now, I know that Avengers Endgame is coming out next month. I'm willing to bet that this movie will give Avengers Endgame a run for its money as far as how good the movie is. I say that with full confidence. This was a great movie. And the star of this movie, no question about it, was Lupita Nyong'o. Her performance in this movie, it is Oscar worthy. I'm gonna say that one more time. It is Oscar worthy. She is so great in this movie. Now, she was great in 12 Years a Slave. She was great in Black Panther, but you're not ready for this. She gives the performance of a lifetime in this movie. That is how good she is. Now, everything that you saw in the trailer pretty much happened in the movie. But Jordan Peele always throws a monkey wrench into his movies. And guys, the end of this movie will shock you. It really will. Now, I will say this. This is a movie where you cannot take a restroom break. So I highly recommend that you eat before this movie. Don't drink too much, because the first scene of the movie sets the tone for what's going to happen throughout this movie. It really is. If you get up and go to the restroom, you're going to miss something. So guys, take my advice. Do not go to the restroom. Now, this movie actually did fly by pretty fast because there's really no dead spots in this movie. It really isn't. Now, I don't know what to say about Jordan Peele. It was just a home run. This movie was an absolute home run. Now, before I saw the movie, there was a lot of reviews saying that this was pretty much a throwback to an 80s slasher movie. And I can see where they were coming from, but it is and it is not a slasher movie in that sense. I say that because, yes, there's a lot of kills in this movie, but the kills in the movie are really a bunch of long shots, so you don't exactly get to see what actually happens. So when somebody gets their throat slashed, you can see it from a distance, or somebody is like hiding behind a counter, so you really can't see exactly what happens. This movie is really driven by the story, not the gore. I don't know how Jordan Peele came up with this idea whatsoever, because everybody in this movie has to play two roles. They have to play themselves and they have to play their tether. Now, that's what they actually call the doppelgangers in this movie. And Lupita Nyong'o, I can't just say enough about how great she was in this movie. And her end game in this movie is really crazy. It really is. Now, she's very serious in this movie. She's not joking around whatsoever. She brings it hardcore. If you're looking for a comic relief in this movie, it'll be Winston Duke, who plays her husband in this movie. Winston Duke was hilarious in this movie. Anytime there was actually something serious going on in the movie, let's say somebody got killed or something like that, he always had a joke that would make you laugh. He really did. Almost all of his lines were like comic relief lines, and he did not disappoint. Now, the two actors that played their children were really good. I can't remember the actress who plays her daughter, but her daughter in this movie was really good, especially as her tether. Her tether is very scary. Extremely scary. And she did an outstanding job portraying that on screen. Now, there's a lot of throwbacks to the 1980s because actually the first scene in the movie takes place in the 1980s. So you see the whole Michael Jackson thing going on. There's a Thriller t-shirt, things like that. Also, there's an NWA reference in this movie. They actually play one of NWA's songs when somebody's actually getting killed, and they have like this Alexa type device, and it says "Call the police," but the "F the Police" song by NWA plays, and it is so funny. It fits that scene just perfect. Now, I'm not going to give too much away about this movie at all, but pay attention to the first scene in the movie. You have to read the opening lines because there is some dialogue that they actually have spelled out for this movie. Read that and pay attention to that very carefully, and that will kind of tell you somewhat what's going on. So this movie really is about it's kind of like the old versus the new. When I say that is when you think of a slasher movie, you think of like Friday the 13th. And this movie is not Friday the 13th. It's almost more like Scream more than Friday the 13th in a way. And Jordan Peele does a great job of kind of balancing, classic horror with his new version of horror. And his new version is quite different from the 80s. I can't really pinpoint it. Even the music in this movie, I think it's actually the same composer that composed the music for Get Out. That really, really creepy type of music. That's in this movie too. And the soundtrack is really, really amazing. All of these themes fit this movie so perfectly, and it feels like a Jordan Peele movie based on the music. But guys, the real star of this movie, like I said, is Lupita Nyong'o. She really needs to win some kind of an award for her role in this movie. She really, really does. Now, I know Hollywood wants strong female characters. You guys need to look at her. She is extremely strong in this movie. She has a lot of strong will trying to protect her family. Now, I think everybody has seen like Alita. Alita's a very strong female character. Some people may have seen Captain Marvel. I haven't seen it, but I don't think any of those two characters can match up to Lupita Nyong'o in this movie. That's how great she is. Now, anybody that's actually seen it can probably agree with me on this. Now, Jordan Peele does kind of throw a curveball with the end of this movie. When you find out everything that's going on, you may not completely understand it. I actually went back and watched some YouTube videos to kind of grasp what I actually saw at the end of the movie. I was trying to connect two and two together, and I wasn't exactly sure if I had figured it out. So I went and I looked at Grace Randolph's review of it, and she pretty much had a good theory that I agree with. That's the way I actually felt about the ending of this movie and Lupita Nyong'o's character. Because just when you think that you know what's going on with her, the end of the movie changes that. It really, really does. It changes that. Now, I think this movie could set up a sequel, but I'm not really sure. I think it would be pretty cool if there was a sequel, because Jordan Peele doesn't really establish if there is actually worldwide implications for what is going on in this movie. But definitely, the events are definitely happening in California for sure. But we don't know about all over the world. So I think he could really set up a sequel going forward with this movie. I would really, really enjoy seeing that. Now, the question a lot of people have, is this movie better than Get Out? I think that it is. It's kind of tough to say. They're two different movies. If you enjoyed Get Out, you would definitely enjoy this movie. But This is more of a classic horror movie. Get Out was more suspense. So I can't really say if one was better than the other, but it's very, very possible. But guys, have you seen Us? If you haven't, go buy your ticket today. Go buy your ticket today. You need to see this movie now. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments. If you're new here to the channel, please hit subscribe to catch future videos from me, and we will catch you on the next video. John Matrixx